We ain't sleeping till Hollywood, Hollywood. We ain't sleeping.
And we're back. Welcome to No Sleep Till Hollywood. I'm your host, Caleb McDonald.
And I am your host, Gaelyn Smith.
And we are not sleeping until we make it in Hollywood. And while we're up, we will be discussing the state of the industry and our place in it.
And today, we are here to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the chaotic that was this year's 2022 Emmys. And I have a lot of opinions about the Emmys. There were a lot of great moments. There were a lot of really bad moments. Yeah. And then there were some winners that, we needed to see. And because of this week, I decided to wear my shirt, Black Actresses Matter. We'll get into why I feel like this needed to be restated, but Black Actresses Matter. 2022 Emmys. This year, as always, it's always a wonderful day to be Black. But there were some very strong Black winners this year. I'd like to go through some of them for you all. So we have Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, Miss Zendaya for Euphoria. Now, I'm happy about that. There have been some comments about, was Zendaya really the lead actress of season 2 when she really wasn't in but so much of season 2.
Don't blame me.
There's so much honest, and I'll be honest, I think her performance in season 2 of the 2 was the Emmy winning performance. I think she did really great work in season 1. I don't know that it was the Emmy. But I do love that she got it for season 2. Zendaya is also the first Black woman to win this prize twice. I think she's also the only Black woman to win this prize at all, but to win it twice. And she is the youngest back-to-back winner in the same category at the Emmy Awards. So, we do have that. We have Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Special. My friend, Gerard Carmichael for Rothaniel. Is Gerard Carmichael my friend? No.
Your cousin?
He's my friend. He's my cousin. In the same way that we all Black, so we all cousins. But honestly, I was super excited for that one. Mostly because, first of all, that man wore a full fur coat in 107-degree weather.
No cares. Comfortable.
No shirt, just pants, a coat. He gave what he needed to give. He came on stage. He said, I wanted to win this. I'm glad I won it. Thank you. And then he said, I'm going to leave. Not because I'm a sore winner, but it just can't get any better than this. And then just left the stage. And honestly, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad.
Not mad at all. And he said everything he needed to in that special. If you haven't watched it, if you haven't listened, please go tune in. Find out what we heard.
It's good. I really enjoyed it. I think it has dethroned Chris Rock's Tambourine as my favorite comedy special of all time.
Right.
I love it. It's really good. But I think also it's a comedy special that in some ways isn't a comedy special. I like that there were jokes and there were funny moments, but it was also just him honestly working through being Black and being gay and what that means for his career and his family. And I think it's a really vulnerable look at an issue that, particularly as Black people, we don't like to talk about. And when we do, we don't really like to expose homophobia within our own families. And I think the fact that he talked about that topic so openly, I think it's going to really be helpful for a lot of people. But I just found it to be one of the most enjoyable, it's been one of the most enjoyable things I've watched this year. And that's art. I feel like for me, when I think about creating work that matters, that is an example of creating work that matters.
No, it was very similar to it was the stand-up comedy version of that Euphoria episode with Zendaya, the Christmas special. It was just an honest conversation. It was very subtle, but at the same time, it was in the interpreter's vision.
Yeah. And then we have Outstanding Reality Competition Series, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, with all the R's. There's no I in that, just girls. And I was so happy. I love Lizzo. We were just talking about this before we got on to record the episode, but I love Lizzo as a person. I can't say that I listen to her music often, but I did go watch the show, and I really enjoyed the show. It made me cry a lot. I just really loved that I love that Lizzo was like, her whole thing was trying to find background dancers. And when she went to agency, she literally could not find plus size background dancers, and then decided to make an entire show to find plus size background dancers to join her big girls to be a part of her stage show and like the whole show. And I love that like she didn't eliminate people every week. It wasn't a show where you felt like she was trying to make winners and losers. Like I really felt like she was genuinely invested in the journey of every woman that was a part of that show, whether they joined the big girls or not. She was genuinely invested in their journeys, and I thought that was beautiful. Her speech was great. Like she looks so pretty. Like first, let's start there. Like she looks so pretty, and then she just got up on stage and was like this joyful, beautiful light, and was just talking. I really appreciated that moment. Again, I think the Emmys were like generally pretty bad this year, and like she was one of those like sparks of light, and I just really enjoyed that show.
Yeah, my sister, she was watching it heavily for like 2 weeks, and I feel like I caught most of the episodes walking in. And yeah, no, when you said she didn't make it winners or losers, I was like, yo, who are we supposed to be rooting on for the show? Because like every single one got like a very good
Yeah.
PR little slate.
I mean, I felt bad
Yeah.
for Jasmine. For those of y'all who watched it, like I felt bad for Jasmine because like I feel like I was rooting for her, and then things kept happening where like obviously the way it was edited, like we don't see everything, but the way it was edited, it did kind of make her look like a mean girl, and I don't know that that was fully the case as much as like I think there was a lot of like general miscommunication, but I think like that was like the only thing where I was kind of like, damn, like we black, why we got to do this to this black girl? But I think overall it was a really positive show. It also notably beat out RuPaul's Drag Race, which won for the last 4 years in a row. So I think a lot of people were not expecting anything other than RuPaul to win.
Right.
Notably in that category, you have like The Voice, which has won a number of times, Survivor, which has not won a number of times. Like it's a category where you kind of like win and keep winning. This is the first reality show to win this category in its first season. So go ahead, Lizzo, with your bad self.
Can I say the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Then we got an Emmy, writing for a comedy series, Miss Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary.
When I tell y'all, first of all, y'all would have been tired of me. You can't watch reality TV with me. Reality TV, it's like, well, not reality TV, what I should have said. You can't watch award shows with me. Award shows, Miss Universe, Miss USA, that's the Super Bowl for me. I'm a scream, I'm a holler, it's going to be bad. So when I tell y'all, when I heard about Miss Quinta Brunson, I leapt off of my couch and I had to shout because Quinta really came from the internet, bro. Like,
she got money.
She literally went from he got money to I got Emmys. Like, that's our girl. And do I think she was robbed for lead actress in a comedy series? Yes. Absolutely. I'd like to fight the Academy about it. The woman who won, no shade to her. I just didn't find that show particularly interesting or funny.
Hacks won, right?
Yeah, Jean Smart.
Yeah,
I was trying not to say people names and shows, but thank you, Caleb.
Oh no, I mean I was just trying to figure out who you said. No shade. It was neutral.
It was it's no shade. The show not for me. You know, Everything ain't for everybody. The show not for me. I just think I was very happy to see the Quinta Brunson moment. We'll get into least favorite moments and we'll talk a little bit more about Quinta Brunson in that moment. But I just think that Quinta was robbed for lead actress in a comedy. But I'm so happy that she won it for writing in a comedy series, especially because she was nominated for the pilot. Like, that's crazy. Right. And you also win an Emmy for the first season of your show, for the first episode of your show, bro, you're goated.
And also, not only was it for a pilot, but it was also for a network comedy. Like, I was not sure that network comedies were winning like that anymore.
A network comedy hasn't won since Modern Family in 2014.
Yeah. So shout out Miss Brunson.
Shout out Quinta.
And to keep the show going, outstanding supporting actress in a comedy series goes to Miss Cheryl Lee Ralph. Jesus Christ and the big one too. My deaths have been deaths.
It's Sweet baby Jesus and
Sweet
the
baby
grown one
Jesus
too.
and the grown one too. My
Don't
desks have been desked. Okay,
my
I got it now.
desk.
Thank you.
Yo, the diction is crazy.
messed
My
it up.
desks have been desked. I said, ooh, I can't
That
do
was
that.
a
Let me go get my
perfect
diction
line.
together. Ooh, me can't say that.
Okay.
We have to talk about it because let's be clear. I was prepared to wage World War III had she not won that award. I was prepared. I was ready to quit my jobs. I was ready to fly across the country. Like, I would have waged war on Cheryl Lee Ralph's behalf. So when she won, that was the first moment of the night where I really jumped out of my seat and like cried and started screaming and acting a fool, because like Cheryl Lee Ralph is such a, like, if you're a Black kid who has watched TV for a long time, you've just seen Cheryl Lee Ralph in so many things, and she's iconic. Like, as Moesha's stepmom D and Moesha, and just like all of these things that she has done. She is the original Dina in Dreamgirls. She is that girl, a Tony nominee. And to see her finally get this moment, like, it brought a joy to my heart. Her speech was incredible. Like, it just took me back to church, because she was just like, if you get a Quinta Brunson in your corner, get you some children like mine in your corner. I said, ooh, this like church. Like, it was such a beautiful moment. And just a reminder, like, I think Cheryl Lee Ralph is like 65. Like, she's been in the game for 30 something years. And to see her finally have this moment, to see her finally be recognized and celebrated the way that I think in the Black community we have celebrated her, but to see her really like achieve this moment, it brought so much joy to my heart. If you haven't seen the videos of like her children taping the moment that she won and them screaming and crying, go find those, because those are beautiful. Like, it just was such a great moment.
No, joy. My heart was filled with joy and my eyes were full of tears, because it was a good speech. And yeah, it does remind you.
And it's also crazy to think about that she is only the second Black woman to win this award. The first Black woman was Jackée Harry back in like the 1980s, I think, for 227, which is crazy because apparently the network wanted Cheryl Lee Ralph for that role. Then Jackée Harry got it, then she won the Emmy, and now 30-something years later, Cheryl Lee Ralph joins her as the second Black woman to win this award. Like, it's crazy. And I think it goes without saying, like, I mean, this is something that for whatever reason people don't understand, but like, Black women are funny, y'all. Like, Black women are funny. And the fact that there's only been 2 Black women to win this award, I don't know if any Black women have won for lead actress. I know Quinta didn't win this year. I know Issa Rae hasn't won any of the years she's been nominated, right? Like, it's kind of crazy to me that we are still having first and seconds in these categories. But like, Black women are funny. Cheryl Lee Ralph is that girl. Like, she is very much the original, the OG, like the icon. Like, that's who you want to be. And I'm just so happy to see it. I love that like everyone is sending her flowers. Like, Kid Cudi sent her flowers, and she didn't really know who that was, except for the fact that her son listened to him, and she bought him like tickets to go listen to his music. Like, I love that she's very much a mom. She's very much like an auntie, but I also love that like she's finally getting like the respect and the flowers that she deserves, because she's incredible. I'm just really ashamed of the fact that designers were not rushing to come dress her. Like, she literally did not find a designer and get her dressed until the week before the ceremony, because nobody came. Like, in Hollywood, that's a big thing of like designers come to dress you, and no one was coming to dress her, and that's crazy. But then again, she got to wear the first Brandon Blackwood dress, so you know, it all comes back around full circle. But I'm just that was a great moment, just a good moment.
It was the moment.
The moment. It was literally the moment of the show, because like, what else happened that mattered during the show?
Yeah.
I'll wait.
I'll wait. Also, to date, Isabel Sanford remains the only Black woman to ever win lead actress in a comedy.
Was that for what was that for?
1981, her role as Louise Jefferson on The Jeffersons.
That makes sense. You know who was never nominated for a comedy Emmy?
Who?
Which is insane. Phylicia Rashad for Cosby Show.
That is insane.
Never nominated for. I think they did 7 or 8 seasons. Never nominated.
Right. I need to know if Good Times.
Disrespectful.
I need to know if Good Times was nominated. Were they? Probably not.
Good Times, yes. I think it. What Good Times? I don't know.
Because that was, that was my show. Oh my
That could be a
God.
whole other episode. Black
Whole other
shows that
episode.
were not nominated, that it's criminal.
Criminally insane. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there were some other blackety black wins. Some of these were in the Creative Arts Emmys the weekend before, but worth noting. Outstanding host for a reality or competition program, RuPaul for RuPaul's Drag Race. That's very nice for that man.
Very nice for that man.
I don't watch that show. I don't yeah. Very nice for him. I still think Speedy Mormon should have been nominated. God bless him.
I would like to mention the Emmy that went for outstanding directing for a variety series, going to Miss Bridget Stokes for A Black Lady Sketch Show.
Wait, you said outstanding directing for a reality program?
For a variety
series. Okay, got you.
Yeah, Miss Bridget Stokes, and it's for a Black Lady Sketch Show. Yeah, I love the titles because the titles are always like a line from one of the sketches, and this time it was "Save My Edges, I'm a Donor."
I'm crying. I have to go. Okay, so I stopped watching the show after season 1 because I just personally wasn't into it. But I feel like I've heard a lot of people who've said that, and then they're like, no, but like seasons 2 and 3 have like really been like the jam. So maybe I need to go back and watch it because like that title alone makes me want to go see what's going on.
No, I will admit, I watched the first season live, like as it was on, and then crickets. And I feel like last month or 2 months ago, I actually went back, and I've been enjoying myself.
Okay, so it's worth going back for.
Which is why I'm saying like they definitely gave SNL a run for their money. It's just
here's
SNL
the thing.
Still got it.
No matter what I feel about that show, the day that it wins the Emmy over SNL, I'm losing my black ass mind. Because I was waiting. I was waiting with bated breath. Right. I was like, come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus.
Also, I would just like to say, like, this is creative breaking the podcast real quick. Yo, I need to create a variety series because why are there only 2 shows in this category?
We have said this like 4 times, and honestly, we have to like figure out what we're doing.
Because you know how easy it would be? And I know they nominate web series sometimes. So like, no, I'm so serious. Like I could easily win.
Honestly, this goes back to my other idea that we have to discuss after we finish recording, but like how we all just need to move in together and create content. Yay.
Right. A creator house.
Adjacent to fame.
Please.
It's literally, I've just created a cinematic universe. Like, I think that's the thing is I've just literally created a cinematic universe that only very few people are privy to. And then when all these shows like finally get on the air, everyone's gonna be like, why do they have so many inside jokes? Baby, we've been doing this for like 10 plus years. Y'all gotta catch up. Catch up, please.
Oh my gosh. I low-key want to create a cinematic multiverse, right? Where the beginning of every movie would say like universe number, whatever number universe that is, and that's what universe the movie takes place in. And then if I ever want to do a sequel, I wouldn't call it like the sequel. I would just say that this is also happening in the same universe as another movie. I feel like
is the multiverse cool. Like because I don't watch these movies and stuff, but is the multiverse like the reason why there's like 17 Spider-Mans?
Yes.
You know, there's like Miles Morales and there's like Peter Parker.
Oh, yes, somebody else. You are right. Yeah.
And listen, that's as much as I know. Don't explain nothing else. That's all I got.
No, all I'm gonna say is like it's also this was a science theory first, and then like the superheroes took it away. So it's just the idea that there's multiple universes, all with like a degree shift.
So does that mean in another universe that like I'm potentially a white woman?
Well, that's the thing, because you're asking a philosophy minor this on a podcast. You should not, because I could go into it. It really depends on what you define as like identity, and that's a whole other. I can't get into it because I know it would take up the rest of the time. But maybe if we want to do a philosophy episode, I got you. Into it. Yeah, we'll get into it for sure.
So in other wins, there were a lot of black wins. Outstanding directing for a reality program, Nneka Onora for Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. Very happy for her. And then we had Outstanding Variety Special Live. That little halftime show that everybody was like, this is a win for hip hop. That's the one that won. And I love everybody who was on that halftime show. I just don't think that I don't think it was a good halftime show. Like, quite literally, I just don't think it was a good one. I don't think it was particularly entertaining. I don't think it was particularly well thought out. I think they were just kind of like, here's who will say yes. And like, it just didn't feel smart. Like, if you're gonna do if it's gonna be the first time that hip hop is gonna be featured at the halftime show, right, I would have done either origin to now and gotten like people from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s and really like done it up. Or I would have been focusing on the current generation. The fact that the only woman on the stage was Mary J. Blige. And I love Mary J. Blige, but she's not a rapper. There were no female rappers. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I was irritated. And honestly, I wanted Rothaniel to win. I think Gerard Carmichael, again, I think that special was that to me of like this year is one of the pieces of art that I think defines the year for me. Defines what it means to be an artist in these times, defines what it means to be introspective, defines what it means to challenge boundaries and borders and respectability politics and just so many things where I was like, I get it. It was a quiet special. It took place in a dark room with a lot of blue lights and some snow. I get it. But I just think it should have won. No shade to Mr. 50 Cent, because you know that man he put you on Twitter on the memes, and I don't want to be memed. No shade to that man.
He will.
I just wanted different. That's all I had to say for that.
No, that's fair. You wanted variety.
Thank you.
From the variety special.
You know, just something different.
Right.
Then we have Outstanding Writing for a Variety Series. Ali Barthwell and Ryan Ken were a part of the writer's room for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Obviously, that's not a black show, but there were black people in the room and they got Emmys, so we're going to celebrate them. I didn't realize this until our producer, D. Lace, shout out to D. Lace, put this in the notes. But like Ryan Ken, I do know who he is. He does be on my TikTok all the time, but I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know that he was a writer on the show. But I think he's so funny. So I'm glad to see that, you know, even when black people didn't look like they won. I wish Trevor Noah would win this category at least once. Because Trevor Noah to me is like one of the funniest dudes who's doing like the whole late night political commentary thing right now. I think he's hilarious. I wonder if Hassan Minhaj never won the Emmy for his show either.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
I think Last Week Tonight has been winning for like a couple years in a row now. So I'm just assuming that means Hassan never won, which is crazy because his show is hilarious. Like, that's a funny show and really smart, but
very smart.
Very smart.
Agreed. Then we could talk about Miss Ashley Nicole Black, who won the Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series, Ted Lasso.
Yes.
We love that she's a producer, writer on Ted Lasso, and a cast member of a Black Lady sketch show. So,
yes, you
know, she has many hats on, and all of them are doing well.
It's also funny because like you can just tell, like, because I know Ted, like, is it the Kanye references? He makes a lot of like random, very specific, very niche, like hip hop references. And I'm like, that is Ashley. That is Ashley Nicole Black. Like, I'm sure she's contributed other things to that show, but every time those moments happen, I'm like, thanks, girl. Thanks, girl. We see you. We see you, Ren. And then we have Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series, the one, the only, Ali, a.k.a. Coleman Domingo from Euphoria. What is there to say about Coleman Domingo other than, like, we love you, friend. Like, we just love you, bro. I want to be like him when I grow up.
The one and only Ali for real.
Like, he be wearing the flyest suits on every red carpet. And I just want to be him when I grow up. Like, he just be wearing the fly suits, chest out. Like, he gives. And I want to be like him when I grow up. But, I mean, his work on the show is incredible. Right.
And, I mean, I could say this without seeing Euphoria, but definitely having seen Euphoria, I would pay for that man's advice. Let me have an hour conversation and let me just hear him talk, my problem solved. I'm
Problem
good.
solved. You probably feel real great about yourself. Your credit score probably improved. Your house got bigger. You driving a Lamborghini now. Like, I need him to just give me advice. Honestly, I would watch a spinoff about Ali running an AA program and like helping to save folks in their first 90 days of recovery. I would watch that.
That does sound good. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought you were gonna say you would watch a spinoff of him in his past, but
I would watch that too, but I think like I don't like when like spinoffs are just like a past of a character because I don't think
right, because
that's
that's not a
necessarily.
spinoff,
It's not a spinoff. It's a prequel.
right?
It's something else, and it doesn't. I don't think it has as much creativity versus like who is the character that we know, and if we follow, because I think like to me a spinoff is like if we followed you in the other 23 hours of the day that you don't intersect with like a main cast member, what would you be doing?
Hmm.
That's what I
Right.
want from the spinoff. And so I would love, again, I pitched that idea, so I'm sure now somebody's going to steal it from me and it's going to win an Emmy in 3 years. It's fine. It's fine. I put it in the universe. But I would love to see that. I feel like that would be so much fun. Well, not fun,
No,
but it would be, you know what I mean?
right. Now that we celebrated everyone at the cookout,
Everybody black.
right, all our family.
The cousins
Let's
and
talk about the winners who weren't so black.
well, I do have a couple cousins in the non-side. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to claim everybody from Squid Game. They are also my cousins. I have decided. Because if y'all remember our Emmys predictions episode, I was really going up for Squid Game.
You were.
I wanted the wins. And when I saw that Mr. Lee Jung-jae won for actor in a drama series, y'all, I also shouted because I was so excited because I think on top of the fact that his work was excellent, like that is a hard show. I think as an actor, I think like Squid Games and Euphoria this year are shows that were out that I'm like, those are hard shows to do. They ask a lot of you. And at the same time, you have to, while going through really hard circumstances, also have to find a way to bring hope and light to the audience in a character that may not even feel that in that moment. I think that's a really hard task to ask for. So when I saw that his work was applauded and nominated, I was really happy. But it also makes him the first actor from a non-English show to win that award. And it goes back to like when I
Right.
was saying Black women are funny. Like, I don't think a show has to be an English speaking show to win. I don't think it has to be set in like America or Britain to win. Like, I love that we are diversifying what an Emmy show is. And so I was very happy to see that. So something else that I was super excited to see, I was also really glad that the director of Squid Games won, Hwang
Right.
Dong-hyuk. I was also, again, I like that we're diversifying what it means to be an Emmy show, who is an Emmy Award winning director, what are the shows that can be nominated for those things. So I love to see that a non-American, a non-English centered show, a show that quite literally, if you wanted to understand what was going on, you had to read subtitles or listen to it sub, but it forced you to engage with the material in a different way. And so I was really happy to see other folks of color, even if they weren't Black, winning these awards.
No, and also a show that just deserved it too, because
Yeah.
I mean, the detail in that series is incredible. And that was their first one of the night. So when I heard Squid Game a second time, I had to turn my back. Said, huh?
And then
For real?
also, we forgot about, so then there's outstanding guest actress in the drama series, Lee Yu-mi, also from Squid Game. So they were really kind of doing their thing. It's like they were nominated, I think I read an article, it was like they were nominated for maybe 14 awards and they won 4,
Yeah.
which like for a new show, a show that
Right.
again requires you to like listen with either subs or read the subtitles or listen to it dubbed. For them to win that many is a testament to, I hope, a changing media landscape.
Right. Because there are shows like that show, everything about it was deserving.
Yeah.
Then there's also outstanding limited series.
Outstanding
The
limited
White
series.
Lotus
It's not a limited
won.
series. They're having a season 2. Also,
And that one won quite a number.
it won a
Quite
few.
a number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Words being
God
had.
bless them. Awards were won.
Right. And I know they weren't supposed to have a second season, but
they have
I
one
don't
and was
know.
announced before the Emmys came out, so therefore they should have moved them to a dramatic
Right.
category where they would have gotten stomped by somebody else. But
Stomped.
because think about it,
They would.
if White Lotus was nominated as a drama series, some of them awards, I don't know that they would have gone the same way. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, the White
The
Lotus.
Squid Games came through. Euphoria came through. I don't watch Succession, but it looked like it came through too.
Oh,
so
I'll do it for you. Succession came through. Oh my gosh! Like I said,
I don't watch
I'm
the
gonna rewatch
Succession. I'll start it eventually, but I don't know because I feel like honestly I'm getting into there's a problem where I feel like a lot of these shows recently that people keep going up for, I'm not enjoying them. And it's been dramas, it's been comedies, it's been stuff that I've heard from like friends, stuff that I've heard from critics, but there are like a number of shows that are out that people are like swearing by, and I'm like,
yeah, no. One of my least favorite things about today is that everyone's opinion is an extremist opinion. Like nobody could say, "Oh, this show's good." Nobody. No, because if they watch it, no, this show's the best. Oh, this is my favorite.
And I also want us to be honest. Like you can say, "Oh, I enjoyed the cinematography, but I didn't enjoy the content." Or,
Right.
"Oh, I thought the acting was good, but the scripts are bad." Like I think there's nuance to be had. And I think that people aren't considering that. Like, I think we even talked about in our Emmys prediction episodes about like Insecure. And I was like, while I love Insecure, I don't know that season 5 with everything that has come out this year would have had a good chance at the Emmys.
Right.
But I love season 4, and I can tell you why I love season 4. Like I think the storytelling, I think there were so many things that were dope, and even in season 5 of Insecure, there were so many things that they did right. The style was great. I loved, talking about. I love Molly's storyline with her mother dying. Like there were so many things they did right, but again, like you said, it's like people don't know how to say, "I liked this. This could have been better. I didn't like that." It's either the best or the worst, and it's like no. There's quite literally nuance, even in an Emmys award-winning show, even in an outstanding comedy series or outstanding drama series. There are still things within that probably somebody didn't appreciate or didn't like or didn't enjoy, and that's okay.
Right. I mean, because like a show that I could swear by, a show that I will put on very high mountains is Ted Lasso, which did win Outstanding Comedy Series. That show is amazing.
It's an amazing show.
Another win that the show had, but
I'll say it's an amazing show, but there is like the argument to be said of like the black character. There's very few characters of color, and when they are, they're very much side characters there to serve and advance the plot of a white main character.
Right.
That's a valid critique of the show.
It is. That white main character though, he did happen to win lead actor in a comedy series. Not the best.
Listen, Jason Sudeikis was acting his ass off. Okay, and here's the thing: I'm not mad at the fact that he was also really good. I just think that there's like he was great at what he did, and also these black characters. But I think Jason Sudeikis was great. Another win that they had was supporting actor in a comedy series with Brett Goldstein. Roy Kent, who swore again. I'm not gonna lie, y'all know I love Roy Kent. Tyler James Williams should have won that award. Because like y'all mean to tell me Gregory staring y'all in the camera every episode wasn't sending y'all? Because it sent me every time. I laughed every time he did it as if I had never seen it before. Like, I love Roy, but Gregory.
No, and because that's his second like amazing sitcom, because he had Everybody Hates Chris, which
he was like he really has picked up. Like I think it's something to be said for like you're a child actor, everyone knows you in one way, so I'm sure it's hard to get roles and do things afterwards. But like the projects that he's been a part of have all been really good. Like he has Everybody Hates Chris, Abbott Elementary, which is going to do numbers and it's going to do seasons, and I'm so excited to see where they go. He did the Billie Holiday movie, and he was in that. He was fabulous.
He was even in The Walking Dead. It
He
was
was?
very heartbreaking and crazy watching him get eaten by zombies. But he was in The Walking Dead for a
See,
season or
it's
two.
like, I think that's the thing. Like, I think there's something to be said for, I was like reading a tweet and it was like, everybody wants Oscar. Like, the reason why we don't have movie stars anymore is because everybody wants Oscar bait. Nobody wants to do the mid-budget rom-com, things
Right.
like that. And I think there's something to be said for, I love when actors are able to be choosy about the types of projects they're in. Because I think, like, I don't have to see you every year to remember that you're amazing. Because there are some
Right.
actors that we see all the time, and I'm like, baby, you be in a lot of stuff that's bad. And then there's
You could
actors like,
rest.
right, it's like Tyler James Williams, like, there was a long gap between Everybody Hates Chris and the next thing he did. But
Which
he
I'm
was there
glad.
yes, he deserves.
Children acting and all that, you know?
Yeah. But I think, like, I want more of that. I want more of, like, this decisive quality resume building as opposed to,
Right.
I need to be on your screen every day so that way people don't forget about me. I think there's something to be said for that.
And Galen, I must say that was an amazing speech.
What speech?
But
What
what
speech?
you just said,
Oh.
you just said, yeah, of course. But moving on to our favorite speeches of the night.
Ha ha ha.
Jesse Armstrong had one of my favorites for the night. He was writing Succession.
I have to look at his face. I forgot what his face looked like. Hold on. Keep talking.
A white man.
I do remember this white man. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so as a writer, his speech was from a writer's point of view because he won the Emmy specifically for this episode. I believe the episode was As the Bell Says, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so he talked about how when writing that episode specifically, he felt it was terrible. He was like, the structure's all out of place, the shape's just not right. And so for him to like have such negative critique of this episode only for it to get him the Emmy, he started saying, he was talking about how like as writers we're overcritical and so like, you know, we'll always see something wrong with it. But I mean, the episode dropped and everyone saw everything right with the episode. And so he ended his speech with saying, if you are looking at your work and you see nothing but like faults, then maybe that's not a sign of a bad script, but a great writer. And I was like, oh my gosh,
wow,
he got me.
So that's real. If you can only see the stuff that you did bad, that means you probably did a whole lot of other stuff good that you're just like blocking out because that's not important.
Right.
You don't need to see the good. You just need to.
And it's why so many of my scripts are just on pause. So
whoa. We're gonna you listen. That's an offline accountability conversation. But on pause, that's not you got to finish stuff before you can do that.
No, but I do planning beforehand, but we're not going to get into it because we need to hear your favorite speech of the night.
We already heard about my favorite speech of the night, Miss Cheryl Lee Ralph. What else is there to say about my good sis? Honestly, okay, the one moment that I didn't talk about, that I guess we can talk about since we have talked about the speech extensively.
Mm-hmm.
It always makes me emotional when we go to award shows and we see Black women being escorted on stage. It has always made me emotional because it does not happen often. I think that moment where it was Regina King was going on stage and it was, what was his name, Bradley somebody, the white man who ran across the steps to go escort her up the steps. Like, it doesn't happen often, and that was a very beautiful moment. But to see Tyler James Williams and Quinta Brunson, go over, because Cheryl Lee Ralph would have stayed stuck in that chair if nobody pulled her out that chair because she was shocked. Okay. But then to see Tyler James Williams not only help her get out of the seat, which would have been one thing, but to like escort her to the stairs.
Right.
And, halfway up the stairs. I think that was just such a beautiful moment. And then he was asked about it afterwards. And he was like, he called it like the highlight of his career. Like, he was like, to be there for her in that moment, somebody who I've watched for so many years, to be able to assist in that way, in that moment. Like, that's the highlight of my career. And I'm gonna cry. I just thought it was a really sweet moment. And I think it's Black women in this industry, particularly our Black legends, folks, like I said, who we have in the Black community have considered so important to us and have been such a part of our development, who do not get that respect. To see those moments, it always makes me very emotional. And I thought that was just a very sweet moment. And I'm so excited for season 2 of Abbott Elementary. I'm really tickled pink about the whole thing. I just thought it was a beautiful moment, and I'm tickled pink. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm just gonna cry now.
Black actresses matter. That's what you got.
If you're watching the show, I'm really 2 seconds from crying. Like, it's really ridiculous. I'm emotional. I'm a Cancer.
So then, while we're down, let's talk about the down in the dumps moments. I mean, my least favorite moment, if I'm being honest, they had this bartending skit that just served no purpose and was so far left that it's like, what are you doing here? What is the purpose of this? They had Kumail Nanjiani be a bartender, and he's upset because he was like, oh, they actually have me working the shift, but it wasn't funny. Like, and then
also,
Jason,
like, why is this brown man who's also who has a name? Like, he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do they make the brown man play wait staff?
And then the funniest bit was Jason Sudeikis taking the tip, but it was like, that was literally your last joke.
And also, again, why is this white man stealing money from this brown man? Like, it's just problematic. Like, I feel like nobody sat up there and thought about the optics. Like, no one.
Right.
But I feel like the whole show for me was like, no one thought about the optics. Like, you have Kenan Thompson, one of the funniest people one of the funniest sketch comedians of all time. Like, think about it. He literally started on All That and then has now been on SNL for 80 million years. And y'all, instead of giving him a fire monologue and letting him stand up there for 12 minutes and do a monologue, you put him in a musical? Because this is the Tonys? I watched Ariana DeBose. She was a wonderful host of the Tonys. We should have left it there. Like, I just feel like that was just such a bad choice. And then, if we want to talk about optics, and we want to talk about things being bad, I've really been trying to hold this in all episodes, friends.
Go ahead. Let it rip.
When my good sis, Quinta Brunson, won her Emmy, I was so excited. But then, there was an interruption. There was a speed bump on the floor in the form of Jiminy Kimmel. And yes, I called him Jiminy Kimmel because I just feel like, as upset as I am with him at this moment, he needs an extra syllable in his name. Jimothy, if we will. And I just don't know what possessed him to stay on the ground during her moment. The whole bit was already bad. Oh, I lost and I drank too much and then I get dragged out on the floor. That was already kind of just like a very weak bit that like no one needed. So then for him to stay on the floor during her speech was so disrespectful. I don't care that he was one of the first people to see the show and then he very much is an advocate and a champion for Abigail. I don't care about any of that. The fact that you stayed on the stage and laid on the ground in front of the microphone so she had to step over you is disrespectful, no matter how you look at it. Cheryl Lee Ralph apparently like saw Jimmy later and like read him. She was like, I thought it was disrespectful and I told him so to his face. And I'm begging, if anyone has the tape, please send me that tape. I won't show nobody. I just need to see Cheryl Lee Ralph, Black mom, lecturing Jimmy Kimmel. I need that for myself.
I need to know if she has my desks have been desk energy. Because if she did, that video needs to be released ASAP.
But also just like everything that I've heard like from like I follow her son on like Instagram and Twitter because he has like Walk Good LA and he's a filmmaker as well and those things. Like I follow him and like every story he has told about his mom reprimanding somebody is iconic. Like I never want to be on the receiving end of one of those, but I would like to watch it, you know. But I think it was so disrespectful. I mean, I'm glad Quinta said it didn't ruin her moment. I know that she got to go on Jimmy Kimmel's show this week and she got to interrupt his monologue and they got to talk about it. And I'm also very happy that like Jimmy Kimmel apologized. And he's because at one point he said and he said actually no, that I did.
Yeah.
That.
No, I was about to be so upset because I was listening to him and he said maybe I did do that, and I was like,
and then he said no, the fact that I did that was wrong, and I appreciate. I am somebody who I love an apology. I think that we all make mistakes. I think that we're all growing, we're all learning, we're all evolving. All of those things are accurate. But I love an apology. And I love when an apology is sincere because I really genuinely think that there was enough time between the Sunday when that happened and the Wednesday when they were on the show together, that I think Jimmy Kimmel may have even seen the backlash, but I think maybe he had a change of heart. He had a different thought about it. And so I'm glad that he apologized to her, because she deserved an apology. Whether she was upset or not, you know, she has a right to not be upset by what happened. But I think that, like, for the moment, considering Black women, I think Lena Waithe is the only other Black woman who has won that award. And she won in 2017, making her the first Black woman to win comedy writing in 2017. Crazy enough. So I think that there's, like, we're not at the point where we have the luxury of jokes anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, the fact that we're still having, like, the first and second, and we can count the number of Black winners in a category, we're not at a point where we are at the luxury of jokes. And I think that I'm just very grateful and very happy that he was able to apologize. My father then did try to call me out for my hypocrisy about my thoughts on Kanye West jumping on stage with Miss Taylor Swift. And we're at the luxury of being able to jump on stage for Taylor Swift. Like, she gonna be fine. She's been fine since, you know. But
She's been great since.
She's been doing great. Bless her heart. But yeah, I was very upset. But I'm glad that he's apologized. Because, listen, I was upset for a long time.
Right.
But, so Caleb. Okay.
No, I was gonna say, to appease that upset, let's talk about the rest of the show, though, because, like, as mediocre as the 74th Emmys were,
they were long too.
There were at least
long.
There were some moments that I enjoyed. So like the beginning, right? The whole dance number. No, however, the SVU remix, I was here for, because the SVU's theme song will eat every time. So the fact that they made a remix that was on par, I was here for it. And then they had a SVU skit where detectives Stabler and Benson were chasing after the perp who stole the Emmy.
Yeah.
And I was here for it just to see them be them again. And then they had the almost kiss, teasing all the stands, all the shippers. It's okay. It'll happen. I don't care if it's the last episode of that show. It will happen.
Yeah, no, I don't really do the procedurals.
And something else that was, like, more general of the show that I was a fan of was, like, the camaraderie in all the presenters. Like, everyone there was, for the most part, showing each other some type of respect or some type of fangirling. I know there were a couple that were like, yeah, no, I agreed to this so then I could be closer to Zendaya. Like, you know, like, things like that. Like, it was very heartwarming to see that there was a community.
I did enjoy. There were a couple moments I enjoyed. The Kenan and Kel reunion brought so much joy to my heart, because I know they had, like, I think at one point they had been beefing for a while, and there was, like, bad blood or whatever. So to see them come together for that moment really just made me smile. The funniest part for me, though, when Kenan shaded, well, it was two things that he did. When he shaded Leonardo DiCaprio and said that whole joke when he was like, 26 is, or 25 or 26 is such a hard age, because, like, you're young enough to play a high schooler but too old to date Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, that was hilarious. When he shaded Friends by mentioning Living Single, because I will never watch Friends. It is the hill I am going to die on. I do not care how many industry meetings I go on, I'm not watching Friends. I don't care. The show is a ripoff of Living Single, and I watch Living Single. So no, I will not watch Friends. But I thought that was a great moment. And, of course, Angela Bassett. Who knew Angela Bassett was coming to the Emmys? I didn't.
She looked nice.
She looks great. Listen.
That was a nice yellow dress.
Her arms, man. Angela Bassett got to be one of the coolest people on the planet. Like, she has to be one of the, like, she really is one of the OG bad bitches. Like, I just can't. I want to be like her when I grow up so bad. Like, I just want to have me a little husband and my little kids and be doing all these amazing superhero movies every now and again and, like, popping out the cut and just, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Okay, everyone, you heard that. She wants to do superhero movies. Get that bag.
I do. I want the bag. My acting teacher told me that I, like, have a face for, like, the CW superhero teen shows. And
like the 50 that just got axed?
Do you want to build a snowman?
Big switch. But No, you do. I see it. You definitely have a place in TV. It's just waiting for you.
It's waiting.
Claim it.
It's gonna be out there. All right. So we've talked about the Emmys and generally underwhelming with some great moments.
Right.
If they want to call Caleb and I next year to produce them, we have thoughts. We have
Many.
opinions. We could also host.
I could do that. We could do that. My bad. We could do that.
That you just tried to erase me from my own job that I volunteered you for. That's crazy. I'm the most disrespected comedy podcast host in the history of comedy podcast hosts.
You are?
I would say. Caleb's gonna have a whole montage of all the moments we've played him on social media before I finish logging off my computer. But it's fine. It's me. All right, Caleb. Well, now we've talked about that. What are some things you are currently watching? Let people know.
Well, I am currently watching Better Call Saul, which should also be mentioned real quick. Better Call Saul has been on for 6 years. It was its final season this year, but it never won any of the Emmys that it was nominated for. A lot of people felt that it was snubbed, but I mean, they got the nominations. So like that does go to talk about the testament of the show.
I haven't watched the show yet, but y'all know I go up for my friend Juan Carlo Esposito. And the fact that he has not won anything for the show makes me upset.
No, because he's amazing. Because he's phenomenal in that show.
I go up for that man every day.
And I'm honestly watching Better Call Saul because I wanted to rewatch Breaking Bad. I wanted to, because I watched it when I was 13. You think I understood the depth of the writing? No,
I was like, there watching it. You're like, this is very dangerous.
I was like, all right, high school.
They are doing drugs.
That's what's up. So I'm watching Better Call Saul. As soon as I finish that, I'm moving on to Breaking Bad, and then another show I'm watching, which you told me to watch, and I have been enjoying, especially that season 2, is P-Valley. P-Valley, where the girls get naked. Like,
down in the valley where the girls get naked.
Such a great show.
This is my jam.
I'm enjoying myself.
Another example of a great apology was Jay Alphonse when he did that skit for that podcast that was homophobic. I wouldn't say it was homophobic. And then when he got backlash, he apologized and took accountability for his actions, talked about things he was doing to mitigate the harm. I appreciate that. We love when people apologize, but a great show.
That we do. And what Emmy nominated or not Emmy nominated show have you been watching?
All right, so this has been a big TV watching week for me. I've been watching many shows this week. I finished Fakes on Netflix, Canadian show about 2 high school girls who accidentally create the largest fake ID empire in North America. Such a good show. Like, it's so well paced because it's 10 episodes, but it's paced in such a way that you almost have to binge it. Like, you kind of like feel like I watched the first 2 episodes and then I had like other things to do. And then I came back and watched the rest of it the next day and then the next day. And I was like, dang, I wish I just sat down for 5 hours and watched the whole thing because it's just paced so well. Really smart comedy. I love that it's 2 women who are leading the show, a white woman and an Asian woman, but they're smart, they're powerful, they're confident, and they're funny. And I really enjoyed that show. It's great. I hope it gets a season 2 because the way it ends in season 1, like, that's one of those shows, if it doesn't get a season 2, I actually might lose my mind. Like, that is just, because, like, I need to know what happens. It kind of ends similarly to, like, in the same way rap shit ends with, like, Shauna running from the IRS. Like, it has a similar kind of ending where you're like, but I need to know what happens next. So I love that. I also just finished watching Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. Like I said, I really enjoyed that show. And then I just started The Dropout, which was one of the Emmy. I think, did Amanda Seyfried win for that? I think Amanda Seyfried did win for that this year. But she was nominated for lead actress. So I just started the first episode before we recorded. And I really enjoy it so far. So those are the things I'm watching right now. Catching up on,
All good shows. All good shows. Anything we mention, we recommend. Unless we don't recommend it.
Don't recommend it because
then we definitely don't.
I started that show.
Right.
There's a couple shows I started.
# that show.
Yeah, I started that show and I didn't like it, and I started that other show and I didn't like it either. So
yeah, but hey, TV.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be the new thing when it's a show that we don't like. Since we don't want to shade anybody, we can just say that show.
That show.
And then
Yep.
you and I will know what it is, but like no one else will know what it is, so you can't say that we slandered anybody.
Could never say that. Could never say that. We are very safe, very responsible hosts that you can find on social media. You can find me at Caleb Subtitles on anything with an @ symbol.
And you can find me on anything with the @ symbol at @GSmitty with 2 T's and 4 Y's. And you can follow the podcast at No Sleep X Prod. Right now it's very much podcast content, but we're gonna have some more stuff coming out for you guys, and then we also are gonna maybe have some scripted content coming out for you guys sooner rather than later when we have to have a separate meeting about that. But yes, so stay tuned. Make sure you're following us on the socials to stay abreast of everything that we are doing.
And this is the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night.
Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.